Welcome back to another episode of Aussies Taking Over the NBA. It is Saturday, the 10th of the 11th. A lot to go through today, but first things first, I've got Andy here with me, and
what's up?
We need to shout out to our listeners and say you can find us on SoundCloud, on YouTube, on iTunes and Podcast Addict, and any other RSS app that you choose to listen to us on. Just look up Aussies Taking Over the NBA. We've got content coming to you every week. This last week that we have just had, the Aussies have had a bit of a rough time of it.
They have, but I think they're busting out of it as we speak.
Yeah, currently the Philly are playing. Who are they playing?
Hornets.
The Hornets.
And,
it's in overtime.
It's in overtime. So. It's 30 seconds left. They're up by 2, and Ben's had a pretty phenomenal game.
Yeah, we'll wrap that on the next episode. But it's good to see the Aussies.
And Bolden getting some minutes finally.
Yeah, it's good.
Second quarter minutes.
A little bit of Aussie on Aussie crime. The Celtics are playing the Jazz at the moment, so we'll report on that in the next episode. But as of course, you can find us on YouTube, on SoundCloud, # The Collective, Aussies Taking Over the NBA. And if you like the NBL and you're in Australia and you're listening, On the King's Dime, the Sydney Kings podcast. Give that a listen too. We're getting some good listens on that.
Indeed.
But yeah, let's get straight into it. So
Indeed.
The first game, the Bucks and the Celtics. I remember last week I said I wanted to watch this in full.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, man.
Actually, very good game. Kyrie back to some form, I think, which was good to see.
Both teams played really, really well. Like good tactical basketball. I wasn't expecting the Bucks to play that well. You know, the Celtics have got a lot of different guys to throw at them. They've got a lot of good bigs to throw at Giannis. They sort of played, I think it was 4 of them. So Semi Ojeleye got the start, and then there was a mix of Horford, Baines. There was Ojeleye, Baines. There was Ojeleye, Horford, and then Marcus Smart and Marcus Morris, the bloke, your favorite. They were just throwing all these guys at him, basically. Just
big bodies.
And I think
decent defenders.
That's kind of where you're going to beat this Bucks team. They're not quite gelled yet. They're still a good team. They're good at throwing the ball out, kicking it out for threes. But if the three's not dropping and Giannis can't get to the line or can't get to the rim and make things happen, then that's where you kind of get it up in their face. And I feel like the Celtics defensively already have that in their locker. Like at a high level, being able to clamp teams.
And I think Hayward is there as well. He may not be dropping the points as yet, but defensively he is a behemoth.
So Horford, he scored 18. Baines came from the bench. He played for 16 minutes. He had 5 points, 1 of 5 from the field, all with 3-point attempts. So he didn't get to the rim at all, which you're not expecting him to get to the rim anyway. He grabbed 3 boards and he had 2 assists. Ojeleye got the start, like I said. Steven's going with the Ultra Chubb lineup.
Ultra Chubb.
Which, that's what you're going to have to do to throw at the Bucks, I think. You've got shooters everywhere.
Big bodies, line. And I think, looking back now that Philly's got a team that's coming into it that's healthy, and their next they're going to play the Bucks 3 more times. You got Bolden, who's 6'10". He is the Antetokounmpo of Philly. Just throw Bolden at him. Yeah. Throw Covington at him. Throw Embiid, and Simmons. And so you'll get a better rounded volume of guys that are long, lean, and potentially could defend him. But
yeah, so the Celtics, they did also shoot a 3-point record. They said their own franchise record. It was 24. And Kyrie Irving led the Celtics with 28 points, including 6 3-pointers. I think it's kind of... The Bucks are still working out that space-on-space aspect where they play with one guy driving and kicking to shooters, and then Middleton's the other main scorer, driving and kicking to shooters. That's where I think the Celtics kind of just mirrored that and played the same way. They drove a little bit with Kyrie Irving and kicked out to shooters, and they were dropping the 3 ball, which kind of killed the Bucks.
I think it's just going to be who's on the 3 on the night. For a lot of these plus 500 teams where you defensively, they lock down so well that it's just really who can drive and kick the best and who's diming on the 3. I don't think that really you're going to see teams matched in that aspect. It's just going to be who scores the more threes on the night, because they're trying to emulate Golden State. Realistically, it's a Golden State emulate. I think the Bucks are now number 1 in the NBA in front of Golden State for threes made this year already. I think 154 to 149 as of yesterday.
Yeah.
So obviously they're doing something right. They're taking on that initiative, and that's Coach Bud in a nutshell.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's he's done exactly what they needed the franchise to do. Was basically right. Get out of Giannis's way. He's just going to drive and kick it to open shooters, and he's 6'11", and you can see the entire floor. You know, he doesn't have the passing of the level of like LeBron James or Ben Simmons yet, but he's just going to work on it for the next 3 or 4 years, and all they're going to do is just spread the floor and kick to shooters.
Still got 33 points.
Yeah, for sure. And it's I think more a Houston last year rather than Golden State, where Golden State sort of has more all-round players that play all-round styles. Like they've got the small point guard, they've got Clay who doesn't really handle the ball, and then they've got sort of Draymond Green who doesn't even score at all. I think it's more the Harden and Rockets system from last year, where Rockets handles Harden handles the ball, just drives and tries to score, or drives and kicks to the open shooter, and then they've got Chris Paul to sort of come in behind and play that all-round role as a sort of backup foil to that ISO style of Harden, where if you give the ball to Giannis, that's perfect, man. He's the perfect guy to do it.
And so as we speak, Ben Simmons just blocked 2 of the Charlottes from one side of the court to the other.
Oh, nice.
And I think Philly's going to have the win this year. But Simmons had like a crazy game. So we're definitely looking to looking forward to wrap that next week.
We'll go through that
back to you.
Next week, not last week. So we'll move on now to the Knicks at the Mavs. The Mavs at home, another loss for the Mavs.
I don't know what's going on here. I just think that, it's kind of tough. This Mavs team is not really gelled at all. I think Doncic is probably, the shining light. You can't lose to the Knicks. You shouldn't be losing.
Hard. Knicks are just they'll just turn it on randomly, and you'll go, wow, the Knicks won, and they actually looked really good, and then they'll go on a run of just looking like absolute crap and getting beaten again.
Yeah.
Alonzo Trier, he had 19 of his career high 23 points in the second half. Mitch Robinson had his first double-double. I don't know what it is with the Mavs, whether it's coaching or whether it's fighting for space on the floor, or I don't know what it is, man. Dennis Smith, he had 23 points and Doncic had 18 points. I still feel like you don't need to panic yet.
No. Well, it's not panic yet as much, but I think it's not gelling. You're 10 games away from just tanking. Realistically, if they're 10 games and you're 20-5, it's time to consider tanking for the rest of the year. And then that kind of DeAndre Jordan signing is a bit null void, because you really sign a guy like that to get you some W's.
Yeah, for sure.
And you get Luka Doncic, Dennis Smith Jr., and you've got, at least 3 good court presence players. But I don't think it's gelling for them at the moment.
That's still early days. I mean, you look at the way this franchise has been built. They've put together some picks in Doncic and Dennis Smith Jr. last year. They're trying to bring pieces together and make it work. So I guess you got to give it a little bit of time. I think.
Oh yeah, it's so early on in the Doncic could be a completely different player next year, and he's already pretty good. Yeah,
so you're already getting the stamp of Doncic on your team. Oh, okay, now we've got a plan for 3 or 4 years. We didn't know who we were going to draft last year, but now we know what we've got. So there's time for that to be molded around him. But I think they have to go in that direction, just give him the ball, and Dennis Smith come in and supplement it. It's almost the same as the Bucks and Houston. They've got to just go to that, right, give Doncic the ball, everyone get out of his way, and then he kick to shooters when he drives, and the guys that are open, they just don't have very many shooters. They've got broke off, but he's not really playing all that much. He's not really
playing all that much, and probably needs to put on a good 10 or 15 pounds to get that body into NBA shape.
And I don't think Carlisle's a very good coach. But that's all right. He's their staple there. So, and he's saying he wants to shoot more threes, but I don't think he wants to shoot more threes. But I don't think so. That's
we know what the winning formula in many respects is now.
Yeah,
and there's really it's the drive and kick and the lockdown defense, and Golden State has that with 1 or 2 players. And the Celtics have that with the whole team. They don't have quite the shooting yet that we will see from Golden State or the Bucks.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, the Grizz and the Jazz.
The Grizz are doing all right this year.
Yeah.
They're playing quite well. Conley coming back, obviously, from a year off. Playing well.
Conley and Gasol are two very good players. Like, they're franchise players that can get you... Well, they got to the playoffs a few years ago, and they were the second round, I think, when they played the Warriors. And that's only 2 or 3 years ago. So they're not a terrible franchise who is still building. They've stuck together some pieces. Beating the Jazz is a big scalp, really, at home. Or the Grizz beating the Jazz in Utah.
We have to put a disclaimer here. No Mitchell, which... Yeah. He is very...
Man, he takes some terrible shots, though.
He takes some terrible... He's still a rookie.
Yeah.
But... He's still good.
He's great, yeah, it's great. But sometimes I sit there and just think they've got momentum, and then he'll just start jacking up these shots, driving all the way to the rim and then trying to finish through 4 guys when Rudy Gobert's standing there like, give me the ball.
Yeah, he doesn't kick enough quite yet to your open shooters. But again, that's your style. They've done pretty well with that style so far. Rubio's having a bit of an up and down year at the moment.
Yeah. They seem to not really care, though. Like,
I think they know they're going to get to the finals, and they don't really care who they play.
Well, if I was playing with... Like, that's the first thing as a coach or as someone around that team I'd be saying to Donovan Mitchell. Like, you got to be less selfish, man. Like, you have to look to shoot the ball less when you're at the rim and there's guys coming at you. You need to start looking at the kick out and that. But they all seem to not care. They're all just like, no, we love him. He's great. That's good.
Yeah, if he shoots through like 8 tall hands, then, that's fine. Just as long as... I think he's trying to get to the line, obviously. Yeah. But, they won't call it as much as they need to.
Joe Ingles,
had a better game.
Yeah, 19 points, 37 minutes. He's 6 of 13 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3.
He's had a bit of a bad run of things, I have to say, of late. Not shooting quite well. A lot of turnovers.
After he started so hot too. Like, he had 2 or 3 games where he was just lights out.
But you look at Saric. Saric started like absolute turd. In the last 2 games, he's shot almost 60% from beyond the arc. So just might be a little bit of a downswing for him, but he'll be back out there. He's a good player.
Yeah, so Exum, he played 19 minutes. He had 3 points, 1 of 6 from the field, none of 2 from 3, 4 assists and 4 fouls. So struggled a little bit staying in front of his defender. Obviously, Conley is quite a good point guard. And
I think Gasol did quite well in locking down Gobert as well.
Yeah, because he shoots too. Like, he can bring the guy out. He's like Nikola Jokic, where he can shoot that corner 3, or he can even come out pretty much to the elbow or to the 3-point line, which I think that messes with Gobert a little bit.
Well, it does, because as soon as you bring him out, the rim protection is over for the Jazz, and you can blow by Ingles pretty easily.
Yeah.
And so you've kind of got this 1-2, and if Gasol's bringing Gobert all the way out, then you've got some pretty weak wings in Rubio and Ingles.
Yeah.
And you can just drive by them or dish it in, or that's pretty much it. Gobert is your lockdown 5 feet, make everyone play at the elbow. But if you've got a center who can bring him out, like potentially Embiid will when they play.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, and that's your one sort of knife into that Utah team, really.
I don't know if he gets in foul trouble early against an Embiid or a Gasol, someone like that. It's pretty much lights out defensively for the Jazz.
Yeah, so they've got Derek Favors, and then
Exum's good, but they've always got 1 or 2 weak links in the defensive area.
Yeah,
when there's not that 5-foot kind of protection from Gobert.
And then Ekpe Udoh, which is their other main center forward. After that, there's nothing really, like, rim protection wise. Royce O'Neal, so a little bit, and Jay Crowder's not a great rim protector, but it's early for them too. My prediction's looking a bit terrible for the Jazz because they're struggling. But
we'll shoot the shit sometime in the next week or 2 and discuss all the updates and what's going on. But look, early days, I think they're more likely going to be a 45-win team this year. I think from what we've seen. Offense gelling and not gelling.
Yep.
But you look at Philly, terrible start. You look at, the Celtics had a bit of a wobbly start. They may just be heating up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's still...
They've got enough depth. This is what I mean. It's 10 games in.
It comes in like rhythm and flow. Like, It's kind of like Houston, where I was saying to you they were 0-4 or 1-4 or whatever, and then suddenly they just play 4 crap teams, and it's like, oh, they're back to 500 again.
Oh, that's OKC.
OKC, sorry, yeah, and Houston as well. Like it's the same thing.
It's
like
the same thing. Yeah.
Suddenly they appear on this stretch of teams where they're like, oh, they've got 4 in a row, nice, and then they've got some momentum, and obviously,
and then they go start beating 500 teams, and then they're getting up there upwards of 650.
The Jazz have lost 4 at home too, so I think they're playing now against the Celtics at home. So, they're 1-4 at home, but they were 0-4 at home in this game. So, but yeah, mainly drawing Rudy from the rim is basically your only way in against this team.
Yeah, in terms of penetration.
And it makes sense that the Grizzlies with Gasol, and then later on we'll talk about the Nuggets as well. Another center exactly like that, drawing the guy away from the rim. So. But we'll move on to the 76ers and the Pistons.
Philly.
Is that the third time they've played?
Second time.
So after that, Blake dropped 50.
After Blake, I think he dropped about 30 this game as well. It was just Blake Griffin backing down Ben Simmons. That's this whole game. He's such a boring player. He just needs to fade out of the league. Like, get back to the 80s where you belong. Just, all right, give me the ball. All right, back down. Ass. I mean, they need to do something about that.
Yeah.
I can understand you play in the post, but he literally backs down from like
the 3-point line.
Yeah,
basically.
it's pretty much just like, I gotta stick my ass and,
and then spin and fade and like just toss up this wild shot. That's just him in a nutshell, though. Man.
Yeah, look, it's being effective again. I think he's healthy, obviously, and it's getting effective again. And it's giving Detroit something where really they don't have a lot. He gets injured, they're gone. That's pretty much the Detroit story of the year. It's one-man show. And yes, Andre Drummond again, Joel Embiid getting into his head. The big man scored 32 of his 39 points in the first half, 17 rebounds, and then put a picture of Andre Drummond dancing on Instagram saying feels, #feels.
32 in the first half. Holy moly. That's insane.
Yeah, he's just a machine. Simmons didn't have a great game, but, defended a bit better, didn't let Blake get 50. He only got 30 or something like that. But Embiid is definitely making him move for MVP and Defensive Player of the Year this year, I think, For
sure, man. And on this start, he's definitely going to be up there. There's about 4 or 5 little candidates out there. And I think, he's definitely going to be pretty close if he can stay healthy, touch wood.
Stay healthy, he could be up there. And, he's taking the Sixers on nights when they're not having good shooting into the W.
Yeah, well, you need that, man. You need the guy who can just get to the rim and just makes things happen, see the ball go through the net at the foul line or something like that, or just put the ball through the hoop. That's the main part. It's just that extra shooter that probably Philly's just lacking. One extra shooter, which Muscala needs to try and be. And then I think, is Chandler back yet?
Yeah, he is. And he's playing quite well. He's on restricted minutes.
Was he back in this game?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. I think he played 10 minutes.
Yeah.
This game or the next game?
Yeah.
10 minutes didn't really do much, just kind of got out the field. But again, it gives that extra length to the lineup. I think when Muscala's back, you just got this monster like 6'10" lineup if you want it.
Yeah.
With Covington being such a good lockdown defender, and then I think he's at 6'7", but I think his wingspan's almost 6'11". So big,
Covington,
big.
He's a great on-ball defender for sure.
Oh, crazy.
So the coach Dwayne Casey and Drummond was questioning the officiating after this game. Drummond and backup center Zaza Pachulia were in foul trouble early trying to guard Embiid. And the teams combined for 63 fouls and 92 free throw attempts. But that's Blake Griffin as well, man.
Yeah, that's Blake. He'll back down for free throws all day. But it's in what Embiid does, and Embiid's very good at, and so is Griffin. Embiid went to right at Drummond early on, drawing a foul at 1 minute 24 into the contest, at the second at 1 minute 16 later. He then
so
held
that
up
was two fouls
fingers
in 3 minutes. Far out.
And then I think Drummond had to sit early. But that's the problem with guys that the traditional like Dwight Howard center that has no elbow game, like Gobert, like Drummond.
Yeah.
A big guy like Jokic or Embiid or even Gasol that can take them out and take them out of that 5 where they just put their hands up, because then they've got to defend. Not only they've got to defend the blow by, they've got to defend the shot. And then, you come up with some cheeky, pulling through shot kind of things, and they get touched on the hand. And it's just a different game. These new centers have, these young centers have, compared to like what was considered normal.
Yeah, it's not just standing at the dunker spot anymore and waiting for things to happen.
No, and you're going to get found out, and you're going to get in foul trouble really early.
Yeah,
and I think all of them have proven that when you're going up against these guys, you're going to get into foul trouble pretty early. So you got to adjust your game a bit better, or just let them have their way.
So we'll move on to the Celtics at the Pacers. They lost that game. I don't have the score in front of me.
I think Oladipo hit the winner. I
think it was like 103, 101.
102, 101.
Yeah.
Oladipo hit the buzzer beater. Baines had 6 points, 2 from 3 from 3. He's essentially just turned into like a wing center, hasn't he? They're just
weird.
Like, we're not going to have you scoring in the paint anymore. Just stand out and he hits it.
He's in the paint score, like he's finishing around the rim. He's terrible. Like it is terrible. Like not to rag on him, man, but he is bad. Like
he's got a good putback sometimes.
Well, that's about it. Really.
Yeah,
I think he had one of the lowest last year at one point, sort of 3/4 of the way through the season. I'm pretty sure he had one of the lowest finishing percentages at the rim for shots at the rim.
Yeah,
for big men.
Because he is a twinkle toes big man that hits threes. That's why.
He's just got no vertical. He's kind of a bit like Saric, where there's no. He doesn't have that spring, and he doesn't have that two-step game where he can just two-step finish.
He's a lockdown defender, and he can get open on the corner and hit a three.
Yeah.
And that's all you need from him in a Celtics lineup.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what the franchise needs. Needs a big body that can get in front of you, likes of Embiid and Jokic and Antetokounmpo, and then, run to the corner for some wide open threes and hit 60% or hit 40%. You're laughing all the way to the bank.
Do we need to talk any more about that game?
I don't think so. It's a bit disappointing that they lost to the Pacers.
Yeah.
Bit of a chunk. They shouldn't have done it. But, Oladipo is still having a good season. I think he's really taken a step up since he's been to the Pacers and taking that franchise into good areas. Miles Turner's playing quite well as well.
Pacers are 7-5 at the moment. They're kind of sneaking up there. Yeah,
they sneak up. I don't look. There's no superstars. Oladipo is an all-star, but there's no superstars in their team.
Yeah.
There's just a team full of good players that know how to play in sync, and that's kind of what Boston was last year.
Yeah.
Really, they had no superstars, but they were a good team of good players who played in sync. They just chunked to the Cavs in the first round.
That was horrible.
That was
I don't
terrible.
even want to think about that.
No.
But on to the Pels at the Spurs then. Spurs.
Paddy was on fire this game.
What a beast, yeah.
What a behemoth. He's starting to heat up now.
Yeah.
Playing much better. Playing almost like the Reddick game where he's just coming off the curl round and shooting the three ball quite well. But he had 15 points, 4 from 5 from 3, 8 boards, 7 assists, and a block.
Yeah, man. On Randall. It was a layup too at the rim.
Good
Fantastic. Plus 24 on the night, making the team tick. Again, it's so Spursian that he's playing minutes off the bench, like these crazy 25, 20, 29,
minutes.
30, 34 minutes off the bench. So it's good to see Bryn Forbes. Obviously, DeJounte Murray would be playing as the point guard.
Yeah.
And then maybe it'd be the same with Paddy playing 25 minutes.
Probably less, probably 18 to 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Bryn Forbes, you'd want to get Bryn Forbes in there and start building his confidence as well. And Paddy will probably be there, I think, till he retires, realistically.
Yeah, or in his at the end of his next contract.
He'll go down to vet min, I reckon. He'll have a couple he'll just be on year vet mins or $5 million or something like that. Because he does bring, I think, a lot of history to the team, a lot of maturity, and he's starting to heat up, which is really good to see. He's starting to play some really good basketball coming into the mid-season. But, when I looked at the Spurs at the beginning of the year, I just didn't think that with how they played last year, which was just LaMarcus, really the LaMarcus show.
Yeah.
Is they didn't have that all-round scoring option that could score from the elbow everywhere.
Yeah.
And that was obviously Kawhi with his two-way defense. He's a much better defender than DeRozan. But DeRozan still scores 30 points a game. And this is why the Spurs are winning. This is why they're above 500. It's
mainly Rudy Gay that's turned into that guy. It's kind of become a committee effort where DeRozan kind of helps out a little bit, and then Rudy Gay takes a lot of the load, and then the centers kind of help a little bit. Instead of just replacing that two-way guy, they're doing it by committee, which is the Spurs to a T. And I think that's kind of helping DeRozan space the floor a little bit more, get into transition a little bit more, have that space to drive and kick.
Yeah.
Like obviously his assists have gone up this season from where they were at Toronto. Like he's able to do this because of the way they play. And
it's also the way, and Toronto is very Lowry based. Lowry get into every part of the court and dish.
Yeah.
That's Toronto. Like you wouldn't see many guys in Toronto getting assists outside of Lowry because Lowry is the ball handler. He is the guy that gets in and kicks it out. He's not going to score, a hell of a lot of points. But Anthony Davis not having the greatest year, to be honest with you.
He started a bit. He started quite well.
But not to the same last year. You just wonder if he's not 100%. He's still kind of battling injury.
Yeah, he's got I think he missed a couple of games through injury already. I don't know where his head's at either, too. Like,
does he want to be there?
Yeah.
Are the Pelicans going to get to the playoffs after last year?
They're probably missing one more star too. Like Drew Holiday's come on really well, like as a point guard.
Yeah.
The Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, but obviously all these teams.
Mirotic is playing quite well as well.
And Mirotic, you're right, but maybe one more guy that is what they need at the level of Mirotic and Holiday and Davis, which I don't think they really have. They've kind of just falls off a cliff.
It's hard to kind of bring people to New Orleans as well. I think it's kind of that blow by club that all right, I've got a year between. I know they're going to have cap space next year. I'll go sit at New Orleans for $12 or $15 million for a season and, go where I want to next year. So,
and especially losing, if they lose Anthony Davis, that's like blow it up territory type of thing, really.
Yeah, they'll be down and rebuild and,
It sucks really for Drew Holiday because he's improved so much into being like one of the most defensively solid point guards in the league, like an absolute beast. And now at the crossroads where Davis might leave, sucks.
Does he
get
a free agency next year or is he restricted?
I could not tell you that.
Oh, we'll look that up and talk about that.
I think it is restricted.
I
think it might be unrestricted.
Yeah, if it is unrestricted or if it's restricted, I'd be getting rid of him mid-season and getting some actual players.
Yeah. So on to the Jazz and the Nuggets. I did watch the second half of this game, and the Jazz played terrible.
They were absolutely horrid.
Yeah,
but again, the Nuggets are having a good year. Really, they're playing well. Jokic is playing well. Jamal Murray is playing really well. Just dropped 48 against the Celtics the other night. 19 in this game. They're playing like a really solid team. Isaiah Thomas isn't even getting minutes.
No, he's injured still. I think he's
December,
like mid-December when he's going to come back.
Okay.
But the Nuggets rather are similar to the Jazz, but their roster's probably not quite as all-round.
Yeah.
Like Murray, they've got Jokic, and Plumlee's coming off the bench and contributing. Like they've got all this junkyard options that are really sustaining their main guys, which is Murray and Jokic. But there's another guy who I can't think of off the top of my head. It's Will Barton.
Yeah.
And that kind of shows that the way you play as a team can sometimes beat other teams like that. Like, you don't need to just be better than other teams. Like, it's the way you play, because this was a game up until like the last quarter.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the Nuggets just got on this huge run and the crowd was getting into it, and you could see just the hope fall out of the Jazz team. I think Mitchell went down injured in this game. And this is the game where I was basically sitting there just going, why are you taking these shots as well? That's another thing.
Yeah. You're probably thinking of Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap's not a bad guy.
Oh, he played great in this game too. Like, he was fantastic. I think he went coast to coast on this layup and just basically barged Gobert out of the way. It wasn't Gobert. It was Jay Crowder. Just barged him out of the way and then just laid it in. And it was like, wow. Like, that's a guy who's, Jay Crowder's probably 260. I think Millsap's probably got to be 230, 240 as well, but I just smashed him. Like, get out of my way, bang, laid it in. And that was really where the run started in that third quarter, the late third quarter, early fourth quarter, that sort of took it away. I was kind of sitting there watching it just going, the Jazz have got to find something. They've got to dig deep here and find something. But Joe Ingles, terrible, 33 minutes, 4 points, 1 of 5 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. Not too bad, but minus 20.
Yeah.
He, struggled a little bit.
Struggling a bit. Struggling.
He seems to struggle against bodies thrown at him, like young, fast, fit guys just thrown at him. Like, it's not necessarily that they're better.
No, it's just they can blow past him. I think he gets a bit frazzled and...
he tries, but...
I think, the other thing as well is Mitchell takes a lot of terrible shots, as you know. Ingles would be really, really, really good in a kick lineup like the Bucks. Like, imagine how many threes he would hit playing for the Bucks or the Warriors.
Yeah.
It'd just be 3 city. Because he doesn't get a lot of open looks because of the fact that Mitchell drives and doesn't kick a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of his looks are in transition.
Yeah.
Passing to him on the corner.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, a defender is coming past with a hand. Not a lot of open threes.
And it's an offense that doesn't generate open threes for him and for his kind of game too. The threes they do generate kind of just... They appear out of the mess of a game rather than we're dialing up a set. Joe Ingles is going to get the ball hand off here, run to the corner and get a 3 here. Like that's just the way he plays though. He kind of plays.
And when they do play like that, they tend to win games because they're on and they can use that for Crowder, for Ingles, for Rubio even, but they haven't been playing like that this year at all. I don't think.
It's as though Joe Ingles is getting stuck in I have to do things for this team. You know what I mean?
Like ball play making.
Yeah, I've got to play make. I've got to be the old wise head, and
all you have to do is hit threes.
Yeah, sometimes he has to just forget about that and go, right, I'm just going to get to the corner, give me the ball, I'm going to knock down a 3.
Yeah, lock down your defensive end and hit threes. And go back to what you were kind of brought up doing in the system.
But at the same time, it's early days, and I like that about him too. Like, I like that.
You like that he sometimes just when Mitchell's gone or Rubio's gone, he's just like, all right, I'm going to handle the offense.
Yeah. And that's important, I think, in a playoff aspect. Maybe not so much in the season.
You've got a third ball handler, essentially, outside of Mitchell and Rubio, or if Exum's not on the court, you've got a third ball handler that can, is smart in the lanes and can get looks to Gobert.
The problem his main go-to is basically just pick and roll with Gobert.
That's it. Well, that's what you need. When a dude's that big.
All-round exceptional playmaking. That's all-round playmaking. It's just if Ingles got the ball, he's running a high pick and roll with Gobert and basically bounce passing it to him in the lane every time, or just kicking it out to somebody who's not Joe Ingles. It needs to be him that he's kicking it out to. So Exum, he came off the bench. He had 18 minutes, 6 points, 1 of 3. He didn't knock down any of those threes. He got to the line, shot 4 of 4, a rebound. If you weren't aware, Plumlee hit a 3, everyone. Like, that was in
Plumlee's hit a 3 and Simmons hasn't hit a 3.
I think Drummond's hit a 3 as well. There was somebody else they were talking about who's hit a 3.
Yeah, it was Drummond because Drummond was working on his 3-ball off-season.
Yeah. So it's no excuse for Ben Simmons. He's going to have to shoot
He's got to hit one up. All right, next game, Kings and Bucks. Bucks absolutely destroyed them. And saying that, though, the Kings have been a surprise package of the year so far. De'Aaron Fox, really good. Willie Cauley-Stein.
I like Willie Cauley-Stein.
He's great. He's kind of like the rough and tumble old school player.
He's kind of like JaVale Light.
Yeah, bit goofy, but gets into the areas. I can't believe JaVale is actually in running for Defensive Player of the Year. He's got 34 blocks.
He's good, man. I like JaVale.
Yeah, goofball.
He's just a goof. But he's good. He's a good player, man.
Yeah, he is. He gets into good positions. Garbage time minutes today for Delhi and Thon. Delhi is looking back to his old self, like Dime City, 5 assists, 1 steal, 3 rebounds, and 2 from 2 from the line. Thon, 3 points, 1 from 4 for 3, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a +10 on the night. And Antetokounmpo, triple-double, crazy triple-double, 26 points, 15 rebounds, and 11 assists. Jesus. This is scary.
He's a freak, man. It is scary. We said it a couple of weeks ago that it is scary watching him. I don't think the jump shot for Giannis is going to get to a level that's going to make him that just death player.
Yeah,
but
I don't think he's ever... I think he's 4th year in the league. 4th year?
Yeah, he's only 23, I think. 23, 24.
Jesus.
I'll check that. But I'm pretty sure he's 23. But his game, if he develops his passing, which is a much easier thing to develop, he's already at a level where he can see the floor I don't think he's going to get to that kind of level that LeBron James is at. He's 23, so he's 24 in December.
24 in December.
Yeah. That's the scariest part,
There's like 8 years of peak Giannis left.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. But passing-wise, he's got such long limbs and such...
Yeah, you
can see the floor, and he's got such a good array of shooters around
The fact
him.
he can just hold the ball in his hand and just fend off everyone with the other hand.
Yeah.
It just leads to much better control and passing ability.
And he's looking to do that too. That's the other thing is sometimes he even has a lane to the hoop and he'll kick it out anyway.
But that's the smart thing. I mean, that's what you got Middleton and Bledsoe and even Brogdon, who's hot and cold, but more hot than cold.
Yeah.
It's really working for them.
Even Connaughton and Snell as well.
Yeah, Tony Snell.
Bloody Reggie Miller calling Connington all the entire telecast against the Warriors. Pat Connington. I'm like, it's Connaughton, man. Like, it's not Connington. But that's, Houston style where he just drives and kicks and it's endless, man. It's endless. Even on the break, you watch Middleton will drive like in transition and still take 2 or 3 guys with him towards the hoop and then just like dump it back over his shoulder to someone who'll hit a 3. That's the one thing I noticed in this game, the game against the Celtics, but in general, is that they're opting to kick the ball out behind them and to somebody running down the floor a lot more. Like it's obvious that you're seeing this. So that's where maybe some teams might start to catch on to that.
Yeah, you just need a sweeper who's kind of just runs in the peak and lets the drive in and runs to the various quarters, or just play really man on man and don't zone it at all. Let Antetokounmpo go.
But even Henson's shooting threes, like
it's just they're just playing really well. They've just got a really good system going. To the next game.
Yes.
The 76ers chunking at the net badly.
Yeah.
Look, I put a disclaimer on this one. This was their 5th game in 7 days.
Yeah.
That's some heavy load. It was in Brooklyn. They didn't play very well. 28 turnovers, which is the most in the NBA this season. It was pretty terrible. Simmons had an okay game, 20 points, shot well from the field, 8 from 11, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals.
He had a pretty big dunk too, didn't he?
Yeah, had a
drove
big dunk,
in and dunked on someone.
Yeah, they just weren't shooting well. What else?
Yeah, 3 assists. That in a performance with Ben Simmons in it, when he only has 3 assists, then they're not shooting.
Saric was pretty woeful. It's still, well, put it this way: when him and Markelle Fultz are on the floor, it's the worst offense since the 1992 Denver Nuggets. 89 rating. Yes.
Is that official?
That's official.
Yeah.
Worst offense in almost 20 years.
Wow, that's pretty bad. I'm just looking it up now.
Yeah.
But I wonder, I haven't even looked at any of the lineup ratings because there's been some weird lineups all around the entire league.
They're trying to get Fultz into a rhythm, and he played better in today's game, and he's getting more minutes, and he's not a shooting guard. He's a point guard. He should be playing 15 minutes back up for Ben Simmons every night. We've got a really good 3rd string option in TJ McConnell. If either of them get injured, you've got a good 2nd backup point guard. TJ can play some minutes at shooting guard if we need it as well, because he's the kind of guy that can dribble in and pull up. Fultz isn't quite there yet on the shot.
But you've just got to take that, really.
You take it. And you know what? Brett Brown's giving him minutes, and we're still getting the W's.
If, as a neutral, I would prefer them to just stick with Fultz. Like, you can see people getting a little bit upset in the media and fans in general, but man, I would just prefer let him play for a season. You know what I mean? Like, let him just start for the season.
Yeah. In
this lineup, it's an uncomfortable role, so it's going to make him a better player no matter what if he's doing these things.
Well, I think it just adds weight to the fact that I don't think they're not going to win the title in the Eastern Conference off the bat. They're just looking to make the playoffs, and then I think it'll be more of the JJ Redick show. And the Landry Shamet, like, he's a really good lockdown defender and a good shooter, so there's potential for him as well. But Redick's still playing phenomenally well, but did not play well this game as well.
Yeah.
No one did. But yeah, just a terrible game. We need to move on and throw that one way out behind us. Next one, Magic and Spurs. And the Spurs chunked to the Magic. Badly. No Rudy Gay. Patty, 16 points. 40% from 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. That's bad.
Yeah, well, again, that's a team that has some really good big men. Like it's
Vucevic.
got Vucevic,
Aaron Gordon,
who played well, 26 points. That's where you run these old guys around. Like you run LaMarcus Aldridge, Pau Gasol, Pirtle around. That's where you're going to get traction against the Spurs and beat them. And they were playing on a back-to-back as well. DeRozan had 25. DJ Augustine, 18 points.
Jesus, yeah, that night is when DJ is getting 18 points.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty much the way you beat the Spurs is you have three really good quality big men who are mobile and are going to just pretty much run them off the floor. Paddy, he had 32 minutes, 16 points, 6 of 14, 4 of 9 from 3. Yes, that's a good night for Paddy. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. The big thing is, Rudy Gay. Without Rudy Gay there, he's mainly their two-way player.
Yeah.
And,
I
think he sat with general soreness, I think it was. No, I didn't write it down. But, had
a night off.
Yeah.
Well, you probably want to take a
night
night off against Orlando.
Well, he's coming off, I think, a bad Achilles injury too.
Yeah.
Which was, I think he came back a quarter or halfway through last season from. So there's residual effects from that. Like you can't, I think he's 31 or 32. You can't just keep going. Just keep playing this guy.
Yeah.
If he needs a red, you gotta
rest.
go with it. If he's their only two-way player, which it looks the way he's playing this season, that's what it is. That's what he is to the team. That's a big thing. It's a little bit like Draymond Green, the same way you don't have that extra defender. But we'll move on to the Celtics and the Nuggets. And Celtics lost that game. So Aussies are struggling. They went on a bit of a patch of losses for days.
Patch of losses. Baines only played 11 minutes, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. This is the game that Murray scored 48 points. There's been so many games where someone's dropping 50 and they get the win. That's if someone's dropping 50, the whole team could fall apart, and be shooting crap. But and I think Kyrie was about to punch
on because he shot that shot at the end.
He tried to get the 50 points.
Well, he wasn't happy about that.
But
I think he got fined for throwing the ball into the crowd too.
He did, yeah. It's all right. He can afford it.
Yeah, that's true. But the Nuggets, man, they're legit.
They're
I
legit.
think their best start since 76, 77. Wow.
I think they're legit, but I think they're one injury away from.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
I think with Boston, one could go down and you wouldn't know it. Even if Kyrie went down, you got Rozier, who, by the way, this week has been having some flare-ups in the media saying that he wants to get traded, not getting the minutes he wants.
Yeah, was he really? Were they really?
I think they're legit. I think he's a bit pissed off because I think he played such a big part in.
Oh man, come on, park your ego,
Yeah, but I don't think he's a park your ego kind of player. I think he's give me the ball. This is my team kind of player, and you got to come back to Kyrie, who's starting to play well. It's going to be hard to break in and get minutes. But again, Kyrie goes down at least once a year with some injury.
Yeah, for sure, man. You're going to get a stretch of games.
You're going to get a stretch of games and
just chill a little bit.
Just chill.
They've also got to fit Marcus Smart into that lineup as well, and with Tatum and Brown and the amount of larger small ball that you can play with those two, how versatile they can be with those two on the floor, that's where I think it's probably pushing Rozier out a little bit further. But I think I did read somewhere where Stevens and him just kind of hashed it out and went,
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, man.
It's you're
here for a season. Why rock the boat?
Sir. Yeah, I know. We'll move on to the next game, Raptors and Jazz. Jazz lost this game. No Donovan Mitchell, no Kawhi, but I think Serge Ibaka hit Serge Ibaka.
Yeah, played superb in this game.
Just hit shots from bloody everywhere. 27 out of his last 29 attempts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Jesus.
They're 10-1 too, the Raptors, man. That's full on.
Yeah, they are. And Lowry's having a really good season. Just dime city.
Dime City, yeah.
I think he's averaging about 10.5 assists or something. So well above the point guard average. But yeah, no Kawhi. Bit of soreness, I believe. He's been out for a couple of games actually.
Yeah, I think he's a bit princessy.
I think he's a bit princessy.
Nah, I don't know.
Is Princess Kawhi?
You don't know how, like,
my quads, or
you don't know how bad that is.
Kawhi,
really.
you have nothing wrong with your quad. It's so okay, God.
If they're if they're less than if they're less than a 10-1 start, then maybe you play him a bit more.
Yeah,
but if they're 10-1, it's like, man, sit the guy every 2 days. If you're getting a win every 3 days, just sit the guy one of those days. It doesn't really matter. You want his prowess in the playoffs no matter what. In this, they're kind of front end loading their season at the moment with wins.
Yeah, you
sit him while you're front end loading your team, and then just make him play when you need him to play.
Indeed. Jingles, Jingling Joe, bad game.
9 points.
3 from 13, 1 from 4 from the line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Probably his worst game.
Minus 20. I think he was minus 20 in the other game as well.
I think this is probably his worst game that he's played in a long time. Rubio was 1 from 10 from the field. Exum, 7 points, terrible. 3 from 4, 1 from beyond the arc, 1 rebound, 4 assists in 16 minutes. I think he should be getting up towards the 25-minute mark per game.
Who's that, Exum?
Yeah, I mean, you take away his minutes from Rubio when Rubio's off, but he should really be playing the 2 a lot more. He's long, he can drive to the basket, he can shoot the 3 ball at, an NBA average. I don't know why he's not getting at least 20 minutes, but hey, they must be just kind of...
It's hard with Grayson Allen.
Yeah, but Allen hasn't been playing up until now. And so you're trying to fit Grayson Allen in and Georges Niang and all these guys. Yeah. But
Niang's also a younger player to like a less established player. Probably like in the pecking order, it probably goes Donovan Mitchell is the top, and then Exum, then Niang, and then Allen. Like it's a jumble of players you've got to try and squeeze into these lineups. You'd be not squeezing
Mitchell in. Mitchell will play all day.
Exactly, yeah. And then he's also a shooting guard who can play on the ball too, which then throws another spanner. Like we were talking about at the start of the season, like in the over-under, where they've got so many different options.
Yeah.
Maybe they've got too many options, like too many set positions for each player, but not being able to throw enough different lineups to actually make it work. Like,
yeah, I get what you mean. It's
because if Rubio's taking shots, then something's wrong. You know what I mean? Like if he's taking
a lot of shots, but that's just on the back of him. But some nights he's on, some nights he's off.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like he shouldn't be taking shots. You got Crowder, you got Ingles, you got some good 3-point shooters, you got Allen, Exum, and yet Rubio seems to be taking a lot of shots. And I don't know why that is, but I think we'll kind of probably see that change somewhat. But it maybe just because Mitchell was out this game, someone had to pick up the slack of the amount of shots.
Well, Alec Burks has been that guy that's doing that, really, because he is kind of Donovan Mitchell light without the finishing game, like without the strength around driving to the basket. He is the kind of all-round guy that Exum's not quite yet. You know what I mean? But Burks doesn't handle the ball as well probably as Exum and those other lower guys. So that's where like there's a little wrinkle here and there.
It'll come together. I think it'll come together.
Yeah, I still expect this team to just whack 3 or 4 teams in a row and then go, this is what we're doing. How we do it. Yeah. Let's get rolling. Let's win a lot of games. Joe Ingles, and did we read out Exum? So Exum, he had 7 points. He's just got he's got to fit. That's another problem with the it's not a problem, but Exum's got to fit into this team. Like it's not, Exum doesn't have the set game that fits the team. It's like he's got to be the everywhere guy. He's got to be driving to the rim. He's got to be getting to the corner, taking that shot, and he's worked on his shot. Like he's hitting that 3 in the corner like every now and then, which is what he needs to make sure he does. But then that takes time off him handling the ball and getting to the rim and driving and doing things that make him valuable to that team.
Just as we speak, Utah's playing Boston and Joe Ingles has dropped 20 in the first half.
Yeah, he's 8 of 9 and 4 of 5 from 3.
Good to see.
Yeah. Even Rubio's 4 from 6.
In that game, Ingles was quoted saying, "The little things that made us good last year, we haven't really done any of them this point." But I think that they're a team that will get back on it. Quinn Snyder's a fantastic coach, and they will go through the minutes and. Yeah,
it's just some stagger issues. That's about it, really.
Next game.
On to the Wizards and the Mavs.
The Wizards are fucking terrible.
And they've got real problems too, man. They're like barking at each other and complaining.
Bradley Beal was... John Wall was quoted as saying, even Harry Potter couldn't save this team. Brokoff got a minute of garbage time, which I think is a little bit slack for a game against the Mavs. He should have really been in there with 5 or 6 minutes, but... Doncic, 23 points. Dennis Smith made some good plays down the end. And it was the Mavericks' 16th win in their last 17 meetings with the Wizards. So obviously a bit of a bogey team. Yeah. Dwight Howard is just turd. That guy needs to retire. Did you see his elbow? His elbow jumper hit the top of the backboard.
Oh, wow. Because he's even saying that he needs to shoot more jumpers this season.
He doesn't. He needs to actually just retire from... Maybe play some GLeague or come to Australia and just dunk at the rim.
Brutal.
Get out of here, buddy. It's all over.
Big guy to go against DeAndre Jordan too, because DeAndre Jordan is probably similar in type of game. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Bit younger,
probably a bit stronger. Probably stronger and better hustle for his size than... Dwight Howard.
He just seems to blow into teams and then just the team implodes and he goes on to the next team and the team implodes.
Yeah, for sure. He's like a locker room killer.
Oh, yeah. No, get rid of him. Get rid of him.
But good to see the Mavs getting another win. The Mavs, you look up at the Mavs and you see, I think they're 4-8.
4-8, yeah. Look,
it's like you look at the Mavs and just think, hang on, did they even win? How is this team like 1-10?
3-8. Wizards are 2-9, so we're getting down to just turd territory. But you know what? Hopefully, Brokoff gets some minutes. If they are going to go into that kind of chunk mode and just give these guys some running minutes and get your team in order for next year, because Brokoff's one of those guys that would work in a system like. Golden State, for example, he'd be a perfect guy just to sit down on the corner and hit 3 threes and go off for the rest of the game. Play
Houston or
Houston or
Raptors.
Just a team where you just stand in that corner, knock them down, and get off. Quick scoring. We need a quick score. Boom. But he hasn't been playing all that well in the shooting aspects either.
Nah, he hasn't shot very well. I think he's 25% from 3, and that's kind of what they bought him for.
Yeah,
and that fits his stature too, which is you just got to deal with that. There's nothing much you can do about that. Just got to deal.
He's still got a contract, which is the main thing. Bucks and Trailblazers. The Trailblazers won this one. Column scored 40 points.
Yeah, I turned that on, and it was a game. I think it was just early in the third. It was a game, and then I looked up again, and it was early in the fourth, and they'd blown it out, and I went, oh, yeah, fair enoff. A lot of credit to CJ. He had a heck of a night.
Good ISO plays. Antetokounmpo.
He broke DiVincenzo's ankles, man. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. He just went flying.
Brutal, man. That was like the washing machine.
It was not a good night for them. No Thon and no Delhi. But again, probably one of those nights where the 3-ball wasn't working quite well. No. It was for Brook Lopez, though. Shot 6 from 10. Finished with 22 points. But yeah, if your 3-ball's not on that night, you're probably not going to come up with a win.
Yeah.
Although I thought that they could have potentially had more Giannis not kicking out and just taking over in those games. When that happens, just have Giannis take, like an Embiid takeover. Fourth quarter, you're just getting to the line. Don't worry about kicking it out. We're not hitting it.
I think by that time, the game had kind of gotten out of hand. Like every time they were trying to make a run, they'd just score like a flurry of buckets, and then they were back out to about 10 again, and then it just kept killing their momentum. That's one thing that this Bucks team has got to start to work on, is scoring buckets when they aren't getting stops and getting into transition. You know what I mean? It can become a bit of a grind with Giannis if, he gets stoned at the rim a couple of times, then suddenly things change. They get into a mode of not passing the ball around, finding the open guy, but they'll work it out, man.
They will.
Yeah.
They will. Early days. We can't say that enough. Next game is the Spurs and the Heat. And I believe Paddy top scored for the Spurs.
Yeah, volume 8 of 22.
8 of 22, 34 from 12 from 3, 4 rebounds, no assists, -3 on the night. I think this is the Hassan Whiteside spectacular. I think he scored 29 points, 20 rebounds. Josh Richardson's playing really well for the Heat. The Heat are that weird team again.
Yeah.
They're that weird, scrappy team that somehow managed to get 500 a year with really no superstars.
Yeah.
a bit of Goran Dragic, a bit of Josh Richardson. Yeah, they're just Hassan Whiteside has kind of gotten back into it. I don't understand it. They don't
weird,
make sense to me, do they? They make sense to you?
Nah,
they don't make sense.
Spo's a good coach though. Like he's a very good X's and O's game management coach. So he's good at doing those little things that can win you these games randomly here and there. But he doesn't have the lineup with the players that where he can get a team that gets rolling and gets into the rhythm and starts winning games and winning games. I think Dion Waiters back. I'm not sure. I think he's only just coming back, Dion Waiters. But they just lack like two guys that are good superstars. I think who was the guy that got his tooth knocked out against Philly? Tyler Johnson. Yeah, he's on a massive deal. So I think that kind of hamstrung them for getting a big player. But yeah, Hassan Whiteside, man, he worked on his game. I watched a few videos of him running on the beach in Miami in the off season, and credit to him, man, because he doesn't have anything in his game really apart from the
big body,
the dunker spot, basically blocking shots, and that's it. Like, that doesn't get you credit in today's NBA.
No.
So fair enough if he's working on his game in general and trying to make himself better, and he's getting the rewards because he's a volatile player, but he's got skill and he's got ability. So it's good to see him getting a little bit back.
It is.
Philly Pacers, first win on the road, I believe.
So our last game wrapping today of the NBA. Yes, the first win on the road. Benny had a good game with this one, 16 points, 7 from 12, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, and neutral on the night. Again, this was a good team effort. This was a JD Redick. Joel Embiid didn't score a hell of a lot, but this was guys getting back into it. Saric hitting.
Did you watch this game?
I did watch this game. Yeah, that was a good game. Much more impressive as a team. Embiid is 11th double-double of the season. Just much more of a well-rounded performance. Like, you can't really fault them for what they've done that before when their kind of backup players weren't hitting. Fultz wasn't really firing. They had a hell of a lot of road games on the run, and this was just a good all-round performance. What else can you say?
Yeah. I guess if you neutralize Oladipo and you kind of don't let Bogdanovic get open, you can kind of really neutralize the Pacers. I mean, that sounds like that's incredibly simplified, but I found that you can see Oladipo kind of gets into a rhythm of trying to do things his own way, and that kind of gets in his own way at the same time. And especially against a team like Philly, who have a very big, good, strong, large lineup, like a sort of small big man lineup.
They do.
Especially with Ben Simmons, who, if Ben Simmons needs to put his body on the opposition's best player, that's probably, obviously he's not like an elite defender yet, but Ben Simmons has the physicality and the physical tools to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Especially on a player like Oladipo, who kind of gets in his own head a little bit sometimes. And I think that they kind of, Philly were out, Pacers came back, led by Oladipo, and then it just kind of blew away from there. And it was close towards the end, but I think a couple of JJ and Shamit's shots just kind of took them away. And it was a good 6-point win. Cove played well. Saric back on cue with 18 points, shooting where he was at last year. And if Saric does that every night like he was doing last year, they win games. He was taking 15 shots a game and not scoring. Yeah.
And they were down by that exact amount. All Saric has to do is drain a few of them, and they're getting better as a team. Fultz, I have to love Fultz's hustle. 3 steals in this game. He's getting much better at hustling. He's getting much better at reading plays. He doesn't need to score to be an effective team member, You've got to be good on the hustle, get your body on the line, get to the free throw line where you can get the easy points.
3 steals as well, which is good.
It's exactly right. But contributions by everyone, and happy to get the first road win. All right, we've got a bit of a news segment now that the G League has started.
Yep.
We're going to talk about some of the boys in the G League and what they've been up to. And this is kind of their first week of play. And the first game was the Delaware Bluecoats, Jonah Bolden, going absolutely ballistic. They lost this game by 1 point, but Bolden I suppose, earned his recall into the Philly lineup. And he was back playing for Philly today. 28 points, 5 assists, 16 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 38% from 3.
Yeah, it's good.
And his step-up 3 is something that the 76ers really need from a big man. Like, he can shoot over most guys. He's 6'10", 7-foot wingspan. The step-up 3, you don't need to be a catch and shoot, but you can essentially shoot from everywhere. Looked really good. Looked NBA ready.
Yeah. Because he kind of struggled in summer league, and it was a little bit.
Yeah, it was this weird. Like, all right, we're going to sign this guy to a 4-year deal off a terrible summer league, but we can see why.
I think that kind of cascaded into the season where he started a little bit, coming off the bench in garbage time, not really getting into the actual rotation and into the coach's plans on the day, like on game day.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that he's got the maturity and the mentality to go into the G League.
Yeah.
And then just go, look, I want to get some game time and take over.
I'm going to hit it up.
Yeah. Which is great, like, because it could go anywhere from there. Like, after that summer league, and after even he came out and said, man, I don't know what happened. That was terrible. Like, it was not good. I need to work on things. It's good to see him getting the rewards after he's, at least admitted that he needed to work on his game and work hard to get back into the
rotation,
shape, which will be great for Philly too, because he'll be an important player.
It will be in the years to come. They were playing the Raptors 905, which was Deng Adele's team.
Yeah.
He looks smooth offensively.
Yeah, man.
Really smooth. 17 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 7 from 11, and 1 block.
Yeah, I was really surprised no team picked him up, after that. After the...
I think he's going to be, if he develops his two-way game, he's going to be a definite addition. Because he's 6'7", very athletic. He's not like a typical Sudanese athletic. He's like a bit more built.
Yeah, he's a bit solid, yeah.
Yeah, a bit more solid. Showing better signs of defensive prowess and can guard like the 1 and 2 quite well. Maybe issues with 3 in the NBA. The 3s in the G League are a bit smaller, so he can guard them fine. But just get in a good season. I think get your numbers up. He's getting 30 minutes a game, so he's kind of going to be that G League stalwart and playing every game in, game out. So that's nice to see that he got that.
It's a good franchise too. There, the Raptors.
Yeah. Especially, and he will get some. I think some time up potentially down the back end of the season. If the Raptors are 55 wins and they want to rest some players, he may be called up.
Yeah,
and that'd be good to see.
I don't think they can. I think he needs to be on a 2-way to be called up.
He's on a 2-way.
Is he on 2-way?
Yeah, he's on a 2-way. He's guaranteed 2-way.
Oh yeah, nice one.
Yeah. The Erie Bayhawks, Isaac Humphreys.
Yeah, Humphreys.
Had a good game.
Former Sydney Kings Rookie of the Year.
Looked good on the defensive end. 8 points, 1 assist, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. 4 from 5 from the field.
He's better around the rim really than
he's a rim protector. Yeah. He's a rim scorer. If he developed any kind of elbow game, he'd get NBA time really, especially for Atlanta, who has no center that they can Alex Len, but needs to develop an elbow game.
Atlanta's still like about 3 or 4 years away from even having a team that's anything to be even sniffed at, really, which is a problem for these young guys and these G League guys in that they're not really playing for anything.
No, they're just kind of playing in the G League for the sake of having a team in the G League and getting paid.
Yeah.
And hopefully getting picked up potentially by another NBA team or even...
Because a few of them last year went to Europe. Like, obviously, Mango Mathiang went to Europe. He's playing quite well in Italy. And then Landale and Emmett Nah came down to Sydney.
He's playing for the Illawarra Hawks. Yeah. Xavier Cooks is playing in Europe.
That's it, Xavier Cooks.
William McDowell-White's in Europe still.
Yeah, he's still got a shoulder injury. Hasn't played. But it's good, man. Like, I was actually surprised that Landale wasn't picked up by one of these teams because I feel like he's a better all-round player than Humphreys. Like, Humphreys is better around the rim, probably a better rim protector, bigger body, better defensively. But on the other hand, playing in Europe is they produce more all-round players, if that makes sense. Like your Nurkic, Jokic, Doncic type players that aren't just beastly athletic. They're also skilled in other ways too. So I've been watching a little bit of him and he's been doing quite well. Bluecoats, again, another
Bluecoats, yep. Bolden didn't have a great game this game. 12 points, 3 assists, 15 rebounds, 1 block. Not great from the field. I think it was 1 from 4 from 3. The upside is he's getting time in the G League. He's getting some time there, and it's leading to him getting call-ups back into the main team. So it's good to see. They got the loss. The Raptors 95 played again, and that was some Deng and Dell action. 10 points, 1 assist, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks, 50% from 3.
Yeah.
And I have to make an honourable mention of Mitch Creek, who's been playing really well for the Long Island Nets. Recent game, 17 points, 6 assists, 1 rebound, and a few steals. He's playing power forward there again.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
And
he's 6'6", and
he's 6'6", and he's playing power forward, and he's like dominating.
Yeah,
it's so bizarre.
It's Draymond Green like.
Yeah, it's Draymond. He had the Long Island Nets had the win yesterday, and I think he got to the rim for the final two to actually get the win.
Oh, yeah, nice one.
So
nice.
I think he tied up 127, then went to the line and scored.
Yep.
And got the W. But shooting in traffic, just guys in front of him able to finish in traffic.
He was good at that in the NBL too, like finishing around the rim was his big
which is a typical power forward thing, but he's so small.
Yeah, he's undersized. It's weird. It's good, man. It's good. I really enjoyed him. He played for the Mavs in the summer league, and watching him play was great.
That's obviously why he got picked up, and he's now playing G League for the Nets.
Yeah, I don't think he's on a two-way, but is he? I think he's just G League.
He's been waived and he's in the G League
like
solely.
Humphreys, yeah.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's good. But we'll go a bit more in depth on the G League like once more games start coming through, because more Aussies means more stuff for us to talk about, which is great.
Indeed. Well, this has been a good wrap up. Sorry we haven't kind of done one in between. Screaming 4-week-old does throw spanners into the works. Remember,
having a job that kind of throws a spanner in the works.
Having a job as well, but that's okay. If you've made it this far, remember to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, iTunes, Podcast Addict, SoundCloud. And if you're into the Sydney Kings, On the King's Dime is our unofficial podcast of the Sydney Kings, and we wrap all the games and talk about the players.
Yep.
All right, we are done for today. Thank you very much, and peace out.
Take it easy, peeps.
Bye.